Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time for a show that I am happy that you're here to see because it's the end times. Literally like the end times, like it's like in the Bible. It's happening right now. But not just that. We got to worry about what an alien invasion. Everybody's talking about the aliens. You put it all together and you have something pretty cool to talk about. That's why I'm here, to talk to you about all the cool stuff. Let's start off with New York City. Diablo 4! That's right, Diablo 4. You know, I said a while ago that the marketing would be perfect because of the Days of Darkness that I also predicted would come to New York City. But Diablo 4 doing great in the box office. That's right. They're on 6/6/2023. It was released within just like a couple of days, 5 days. It made $666 million. That's pretty interesting. You know why it's interesting? Let me tell you why. Because when Jesus was talking about the end of the world, and he was talking about the last days of judgment, he said, and I posted this on Twitter, by the way. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's JacobIsrael71. Follow me on the Blue Bird. Remember Project Bluebird? Yeah, that was like a CIA thing. It's mind control. Follow me there, all right? Maybe I'll help you out just in case they're still using that for the old propaganda machine. You know, that's Elon's looking for, by the way. He's looking for the VP of Witchcraft and Propaganda. He says he's looking for people to take that job. If you're interested, I don't know. Maybe we should ask Elon to look into the people that are talking about all the aliens. A while ago, I talked about the Vegas incident where that family, right, they had the aliens. I did a whole thing. I did like a short. Check out the short. If worrying about the apocalyptic fires that's making the video game Diablo fly off the shelves because they've taken advertising to a whole new level, predicting hell would be coming to New York City, that's probably just the beginning of your concerns, because guess what? In Vegas, a whole family, they saw like gigantic aliens. Nephilim. That's right, the fallen ones. And the police, they were called, and it was a spooky call.
I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually weird.
So there's
terrified with.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Right, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot. 9 feet, 10 foot, I don't know. They look like aliens to us.
The weird part about this whole thing was the police earlier, they saw a meteor or something fly from the sky. They were concerned.
It was like a big creature.
This comes out at a very interesting time. Same time that they're doing a lot of disclosure stuff. You know, Mr. Greer, he's the go-to guy. He had like some big thing where all these whistleblowers came forward and they said all sorts of interesting things. But before we get into that, let's talk about the young man who then started like a YouTube channel. He's like, hey, I'm the guy that saw the aliens, and he's wearing a interesting Simpsons shirt, which of course Biff Tannen on Twitter there, he's got a lot of cool stuff he talks about, a lot of cool stuff about time travel and the Trumpster. You should check him out on Twitter. But he put this out. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting? It's pretty funny, right? Because you almost start to think, you know, there was like rumors going around. There were like rumors going around that this was like a whole big thing and that they were going to use the alien invasion thing to like, you know, take away more rights, get people scared, get people freaked out so you can't leave the house. The aliens are here. Where for 3 days and 3 nights, not literally, it's a period of time, but about 3 months, we were like shut down. Right? Especially here in New York, which, by the way, I told everybody was like a sign of things to come. It's the sign of Jonah. As Jonah was in the belly of the great fish for 3 days and 3 nights, so too will the Son of Man be in the heart of the earth. And where is the heart of the earth? Well, your home is where your heart is. So we were locked down, right? But you know what's interesting about all that, before I get into reading that, because that's a very important passage of scripture, is the fact that in that passage, it also talks about the Queen of the South rising up with that generation. Interesting, because of course the Queen of the South is Diablo. It's Lilith. She, in Jewish and Muslim lore, folklore, the Queen of the South, the Queen of Sheba, the one that went to meet with Solomon, was half human and half demon. She was the queen of the demons. How about them apples? Queen of the demons, in the end, is supposed to rise up with this generation in the judgment. I also found it strange, and I shared this out too, because I talked about that statue that went up for supposedly in honor of RBG or RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it was like a statue that was going to sit on the New York State courthouse. This one right here, this spooky looking, freaky looking, Medusa looking thing, that it looks a lot like that. You put the two of them together and you start to think, well, hey, maybe there's something to this. Maybe the Queen of the South has risen up in this day. It's all about the 666 people, right? 666 just happens to be in the news. In, I believe it's like a Polish bus route. Today's news, a Polish bus route was like bus number 666 going to HEL, hell. Well, a bunch of Christians, they protested and they said, no more. We don't want the bus route to hell anymore. And so that's no longer going to be the case, because hell's already here, especially in New York City, or at least in Hollywood. I don't know if you heard about Megan Fox. You know her? You remember Megan Fox? She's in the old Transformers stuff. She was like, she made a fortune with the Transformers movies, and she had some issues and everything else. And now she's kind of known for like drinking blood, being a witch, and for her children, which it causes a lot of stir, because I don't even want to get into it. Well, the bottom line is somebody on Twitter got into it and pointed out the fact that I guess they lived in the same community, and said that her children were crying because of the way she made them dress. And she said, you know what? I'm a witch. I'm going to eat the carcasses of dead animals and put a hex on you. She didn't say it in those words, but she basically said that. That's the day we're in. That's the day we're in, right? I said witchcraft was on the rise, right? You see Trump at all of his little things where he's talking. What do they got in the background? They got all the signs. Witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. It's all about the witches today. Strange. Not as strange as the fact that this, alien invasion is going down. This Las Vegas alien invasion stuff that's being blasted on high. It's interesting. They actually shared some footage. This footage right here of the creature. Look at the creature. He's looking all weird. He's all. You think that if these are like an advanced race, that they'd have some clothes or something. It looks like he just very strange. It's very strange. I don't know if any of this is real. I don't know if any of it's a lie, but I do know that would be one clever way to get everybody to stay in their house again. Hey, everybody, don't move. Don't move. There are aliens everywhere. They're everywhere, right? Little by little, they drip the information out. Oh, it's strange. Strange still that we got fires everywhere going crazy. The people that are in charge, they're lunatics. Good news is God's in charge of this all. Judgment's coming. Things are going to change. I'm very excited about this, especially with the fact that you got the Lilith, the Diablo in New York City. And the fact that you got so much disclosure coming out. But can we trust disclosure? Can we trust these people that are coming on there? I tweeted this out, and everybody's going nuts over this. This guy right here, he gave this great speech about what's going on in Antarctica. And it's spooky, right? He said that there's like some kind of a weapon, some kind of a thing that they call the ice cube neutrino detector, and that it operates on 5,160 DOMs. I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds smart, right? So when you hear somebody say that, you think they know what they're talking about. And he says that this thing, that they fired it up in like 2010, 2011, and he said it caused, get this, the earthquake that happened in Christchurch. Now, why is this weird? Well, because that's Corpus Christi, and we just had Corpus Christi on June 11th. I tell everybody on June 12th the big shake-up's coming, right? Because of Grimace and his shake. Happy birthday. That's right. If you're subscribed to the channel, this is the guy that you're listening to. I just like to look at the things that are going on in the world, and I kind of deduce that there's something more to it. You put it all together, it seems like it's spelling out a story. So on like June 12th, this guy comes out and he says this.
In 2010, I was selected to go down to the South Pole Station in Antarctica for an entire year by Raytheon Polar Services as an employee of a third-party contractor for the National Science Foundation. My responsibilities required me to be more informed than most of my crew and offered me complete access to the facilities. What I learned from this unique experience needs to be shared with the entire world. The technology at the South Pole Station certainly can do what it is presented as its primary purposes, and unfortunately, much more. The Ice Cube neutrino detector is presented as a passive listening device for the purposes of the science as presented. But I'm going to skip right through the chase, folks. I have provided documentation that proves that the 5,160, what they call DOMs, that are embedded in the ice can actually transmit at 2,047 volts each. That gives us a long list of things to consider. It is effectively a multifaceted directed energy weapons platform that I will list rapidly a few things that it can do.
Now, why is anything that he said to be taken seriously? Well, I don't know. Maybe because he's telling the truth. Or maybe he's lying. As some people pointed out, that there was another guy that was at that event, this guy right here. And you know what he was doing? Well, they pointed out, because people are responding to my tweets. That's why you should follow me on Twitter, because it's the only place that I really share on a regular basis now. They said, look, this guy, he's wearing a 2030 Sustainable Development Goal pin, and he's wearing a Freemason pin. It's interesting. All of these alien people, why do they have something to do with the Freemasons? From the guy wearing the checkerboard Simpsons, you know, who started his YouTube channel or whatever, who saw the 8-foot, 10-foot tall aliens, to the guy who's supposedly talking about, why would he wear the pins? Somebody says, well, they must be telling the truth, because why would they wear the pins? And then another person said, well, they have to tell you that they're part of the secret society so that they can trick you. Because then if you listen and you believe, then you're a sucker. Are you a sucker? I'm not a sucker. I hope you're not a sucker. I think that we shouldn't be too concerned about all this. Whatever aliens are, whether they're the demons or fallen angels or Nephilim, I don't care. This is the final battle. We're in those moments. You know what's weird? Larry Bob sends this to me. Did you hear about the Ark of Gabriel? Remember Gabriel, the archangel? There's supposed to be this weapon, this divine weapon that was found in like 2015 called the Ark of Gabriel. And like supposedly, I guess the Saudis or whoever, they gave it to Russia. They gave this weapon to Russia. Strange. The weapon sounds a lot like the whistleblower when he was talking about the green laser that was shooting up. And he said that thing is like a weapon, like a direct energy weapon, which some people are saying these directed energy weapons, there's a lot of videos where you see things being blown up from something that looks like a laser from space. Not saying it's true. I'm just saying this is stuff that you find when you're, bored and you're online and you're looking for stuff to talk about, because the Lord has work for you to do. And when everybody else is sleeping, he keeps you up searching. So there you have it. I don't know.
There's an ELF system at the South Pole Station that when I arrived, I was told it was off, dismantled, and completely defunct. In my work, I will rapidly just tell you, I had to figure out the circuitry for certain other repairs, and I found that this system is in fact completely energized, up and running, and being utilized with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well.
But Larry Bob said to me, it's called the Ark of Gabriel. It's a weapon. It's a huge weapon. And supposedly, it killed a bunch of people when they found it, when they unearthed it. And then they decided to transport it to, guess where? Antarctica. That's rich, right? Antarctica. That's where all this stuff is supposedly going down. That's what the whistleblower says, at least. So what do they got? Some super secret Russian weapon? Well, should they have such a weapon? Would you think that maybe there would be a big stink about it? Well, there is a big stink about it because the head of their church went down there around that time to talk to penguins. That was the news, at least. What's he doing down there? Some I don't know if they're credible news sources said that he was performing a ritual or whatever else. But there's an urgency to get to Antarctica. There's an urgency to visit there. Do you remember in 2021? Well, Alyssa on Twitter does, and she DM'd me like this right here. Look at all the people that went to Antarctica in 2021. And they're like, this changes everything. Oh, I packed all my stuff. I can't. Why do they all go to Antarctica? What was going on in Antarctica? Are the whistleblowers telling the truth? Is there more to this story?
And I found that this system is in fact completely energized, up and running, and being utilized with the other systems for nefarious purposes as well.
And why did Diablo make 666 million? Why is everything 666? I talked about on my live show, I talked about how, Tucker Carlson, he's back, right? Remember when he lost his job at Fox? I have a live stream coming where I'm going to talk about this. It's incredibly prophetic and profound. Get ready for it. It's a huge show I've been working on for a couple of days now. But I told everybody he would be the face of Twitter, and now it's Tucker on Twitter. Okay, and Tucker on Twitter, he's got a lot of interesting things to say. A lot of interesting things to say indeed. Sounds a little bit like propaganda to me, but I don't know. Is he on the side of good? Is he on the side of evil? Who knows? But why is there so much 666 symbolism with all of this? Listen, it's happening in such a way, and it's spooky when your heroes are doing things that I consider to be totally sus. I really do. So Tucker, speaking of people whose lives seem to be changed and changing, evolving with the times, if you will. Well, Tucker left Fox. Don't let the little foxes spoil the vine. These names, they're there for a reason because it's very obvious. If you're a moviegoer and you don't get the symbolism of these things, when you hear the word Fox, you think Sly. Okay, so Tucker, which means to tire somebody out. Carlson, which we've explained. All of these things, interesting. He leaves on a day that is very profound. We talked about it. The same day Don Lemon leaves. And I go, there's something to this. And then I put a little tweet out. You know what my tweet was? I said, he's going to be the face of Twitter. I said, at Elon, hoping that Elon would recognize me and maybe retweet me or whatever so that maybe more attention comes to the YouTube channel, more attention comes to the novel and everything else. The point is that I said he'd be the face of Ticker. Ticker. Twitter. Tucker is the face of Twitter. Ticker. They should just call it Ticker. Today, or yesterday, whenever it was, I think it was the day before yesterday, I thought to myself, he aired his show at 6 p.m. and it was on June 6th. And I thought that's strange. I thought it was strange, of course, because of everything that was going on with the smog and the smoke and the scarlet this and the scarlet that. Scarlet, by the way, the color of the horror system. And by that, I mean from the Bible. So I'm not saying naughty words. It's in there. So you probably find it strange that it's a little sus that he did his show at 6 p.m. on June 6th. So you see the 6, you see the 6, you see the 6, then 2 times 3 is 6. You get a lot of 6s. But it's even weirder that he did it exactly 6 weeks from when he was fired on April 25th. Yeah, so when Fox News fires him and April 25th is the news, even though there were rumors going around on April 24th, which, by the way, We saw it coming. Everybody thinks that everybody thinks that this is some great thing. No, it's just the change of the guard. It's the end of the empire. Remember when Jack from the old Jack from Twitter, Dorsey, is that his name? He put out the end of the empire, and Elon Musk put out the tool, the double fire. And we know 666 is the number of man. The number of man. Diablo, Queen of the South, rising for that day of judgment. It's written right there in Matthew chapter 12, verse 42. I want to read this to you, okay? Because we've been talking a lot about Jonah. We've been talking a lot about the days that we're in. The Queen of the South, the Queen of the Demons, another name for Lilith, rises up with this generation for judgment. And she condemns it. I have a whole video, by the way, about Solomon, and there's a whole thing about Solomon and these demons that Solomon had charge over, and how they're connected to, believe it or not, emojis. Yeah, I have a video. Watch that video right there if you want to get freaked out and not use emojis the way you used to, because it's like you're casting spells on people every time you put that out. I don't know if it's true, but it's very interesting. Solomon had some insight. You know what I mean? All right, so let me read this to you, because this is the day that we're in. So a certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, this is to Jesus, he was talking to Jesus, Master, we would see a sign from you. But Jesus answered and said, an evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, but there will no sign be given to you about the end days, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the great fish's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. We've been 3 days and 3 nights. It's a period of time. 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, just a period of time. We were locked down in the heart of the earth, in our homes. That was a sign. At the same time that we were locked down, there was a story going around about a lobster guy who was swallowed by a fish. A great fish. It's the sign of Jonah. Then it goes on to say, the men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation. I've talked about on the program how in the end, the reason why there's so many people on the earth is because God brings everybody back for the final judgment. We're all here, right? We're all here. Isn't that interesting? We're all here at this moment in time for this reason. The men of Nineveh shall rise in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and behold, a greater than Jonah is here. Jesus was saying, he says, look, a greater than Jonah is here. The judgment is always now. Now. We are now in the judgment. Why do we know this? Because it says, the Queen of the South shall rise up in judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. This is interesting, because Lilith, the Queen of the South, the Queen of the Jinn, the Queen of the Demons, seems to be literally on display smack dab in the middle of Babylon itself. Do you think that maybe, the reason I come to you all the time and say, buckle up, get ready, love people, is because now's the time. We're in it. We're in it. Don't get freaked out. Don't believe in this alien stuff. Don't get stressed out about any of this stuff. Don't let the media and the propaganda and the witchcraft fool you. Just pray. Trust God. Have faith. Love each other. And do me a favor and share the video around. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. And, I don't know. Have the best day ever. Get yourself a copy of The Calling. Do what you can. Because the days that we're in, woohoo! Oh, it's going to get more and more exciting. This is it. This is it, people. Wait for the shakeup. It's going to be huge, and I can't wait to talk to you all about it. I love you all. I hope you get a copy of the call-in too. And leave me a review if you do. All the links are in the description of the video below. Have the best day ever. I love you. God bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the East to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling.